of God, just like he attempts to abort the purposes of God in your life and my life. That's what he does. And we've got to see his tactics. 4 times Sanballat and Tobiah appealed to Nehemiah. That's pressure. 4 times. Everybody, had anybody grate on you, and try to get you to give up on something? The 5th time they sent a letter. And they saw the progress that the gaps were being closed. How did Nehemiah respond to them? It was so, I love this. It's so powerful. How did he respond? I'm carrying on a great project, and I cannot go down. I'm very busy. Why should the work stop while I need to go down to you? Is that awesome? But he stood his ground, calling out the lies of the enemy, who had falsely accused them of plotting a revolt. So he said, I'm doing God's work. I'm doing a great project. I'm not coming down there. I'm not getting distracted by your lies and intimidation and your accusations. I'm doing what I need. So we need to know what we're doing. We need to know it's God that we're doing it. We need to know we're in his will, and we know that by the word. We know what the word said, the word, and we stand on that word, and that's how we live our lives. We know what God is speaking to us, what to do, and it should be backed up by the word. And now Nehemiah prayed. Well, notice how much he prayed. A man of prayer. A man of great prayer. Now strengthen my hands so that they continue the work. He didn't complain. He didn't doubt God. He didn't rehearse over and over in his mind how bad it was. And that's what we do sometimes, don't we? And it's natural. Sometimes we get weary. I'll say, well, this isn't happening and that isn't happening or whatever. And rehearse that. We get like that too sometimes. But God wants us to stand firm on his word because he said, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is sufficient. So we know God wants us to cry out in prayer. And we know the tactics of the enemy are intimidation, fear, and distraction a lot of times. He's going to come against us with accusations that are not true. And he's going to distract us from the focus of what God has called us to do, which is to be bright lights shining in the darkness. So my 3rd point is, how do we fight this intense warfare? And we've all heard these kind of messages. But the one thing I think we don't hear enough of is that we must win the war over our emotions. Our emotions are very strong. And when we get into the frustration, anger, sometimes it can happen. When we've been done wrong, or someone has hurt us, or someone has said something about us, or maybe we're being persecuted at church. I mean, it could be a lot of things, Over the holidays, there was a little bit of a family situation that was painful for Lori and I. That wasn't our fault at all. And it was very distracting. It was very hurtful, And I had to really pray and say, you know what, Satan, I'm not, I'm not getting into this,